think that I count the days? There is only one day left, always. Starting over, it is given to us at dawn and taken away from us at dusk. If you're lonely when you're alone, you're in bad company. Man is condemned to be free, because once thrown into the world, he is responsible for everything he does. It is up to you to give life a meaning. I'm going to smile, and my smile will sink down into your pupils, and heaven knows what it will become. We are our choices. Freedom is what we do with what is done to us. 3 o'clock is always too late, or too early for anything you want to do. Better to die on one's feet than to live on one's knees. There may be more beautiful times, but this one is ours. When the rich wage war, it's the poor who die. Life begins on the other side of despair. Everything has been figured out, except how to live. She believed in nothing. Only her skepticism kept her from being an atheist. I want to leave, to go somewhere where I should be really in my place, where I would fit in. But my place is nowhere. I am unwanted. Words are loaded pistols. All that I know about my life, it seems, I have learned in books. Like all dreamers, I confuse disenchantment with truth. The more sand that has escaped from the hourglass of our life, the clearer we should see through it. Life has no meaning a priori. It is up to you to give it a meaning, and value is nothing but the meaning that you choose. It is therefore senseless to think of complaining, since nothing foreign has decided what we feel, what we live, or what we are. In love, one and one are one. Smooth and smiling faces everywhere, but ruin in their eyes. I exist, that is all, and I find it nauseating. Man is nothing else but what he makes of himself. I suppose it is out of laziness that the world is the same day after day. Today it seemed to want to change, and then anything could happen. The worst part about being lied to is knowing you weren't worth the truth. You must be like me. You must suffer in rhythm. I had found my religion. Nothing seemed more important to me than a book. I saw the library as a temple. People who live in society have learned how to see themselves in mirrors as they appear to their friends. I have no friends. Is that why my flesh is so naked? We do not know what we want, and yet we are responsible for what we are. That is the fact. Through the lack of attaching myself to words, my thoughts remain nebulous most of the time. They sketch vague, pleasant shapes and then are swallowed up. I forget them almost immediately. Man is what he wills himself to be. Only the guy who isn't rowing has time to rock the boat. Every word has consequences, every silence, too. That God does not exist, I cannot deny. That my whole being cries out for God, I cannot forget. To know what life is worth, you have to risk it once in a while. Existence is an imperfection. I exist. It is soft, so slow, and light. It seems as though it suspends in the air. It moves. There is only one day left, always. Starting over, it is given to us at dawn and taken away from us at dusk. Little flashes of sun on the surface of a cold, dark sea. Better a good journalist than a poor assassin. As far as men go, it is not what they are that interests me, but what they can become. As for me, I am mean. That means that I need the suffering of others to exist. A flame in their hearts. When I am all alone, I am extinguished. I found the human heart empty and insipid everywhere except in books. I think that is the big danger in keeping a diary. You exaggerate everything. Every existing thing is born without reason, prolongs itself out of weakness, and dies by chance. Nothingness lies coiled in the heart of being like a worm. Anything would be better than this agony of mind, this creeping pain that gnaws and fumbles and caresses one and never hurts quite enough. Freedom is what you do with what's been done to you. Life has no meaning the moment you lose the illusion of being eternal. I do not think, therefore, I am a mustache. I'd come to realize that all our troubles spring from our failure to use plain, clear-cut language. Your judgment judges you and defines you. Life is a useless passion. There is a universe behind and before him, and the day is approaching when, closing the last book on the last shelf on the far left, he will say to himself, now what? Being is in itself, being is what it is. I wanted my own words, but the ones I use have been dragged through I don't know how many consciences. Perhaps it's inevitable, perhaps one has to choose between being nothing at all and impersonating what one is. In football, everything is complicated by the presence of the opposite team. It is only in our decisions that we are important. To think new thoughts, you have to break the bones in your head. He is always becoming, and if it were not for the contingency of death, he would never end. I said to myself, I want to die decently. I am myself and I am here. Death is a continuation of my life without me. I confused things with their names, that is belief. Existence is prior to essence. Man is nothing else but what he purposes. He exists only in so far as he realizes himself he is, therefore nothing else but the sum of his actions, nothing else but what his life is. Nothingness haunts being. I've dropped out of their hearts like a little sparrow fallen from its nest, so gather me up, dear, fold me to your heart and you will see how nice I can be. What do we mean by saying that existence precedes essence? We mean that man first of all exists, encounters himself, surges up in the world and defines himself afterward. A pale reflection of myself wavers in my consciousness and suddenly the I pales, and fades out. Fear, if I have gained anything by damning myself, it is that I no longer have anything to fear. People, you must love people. Men are admirable. I want to vomit and suddenly, there it is, the nausea. One could only damage oneself through the harm one did to others. One could never get directly at oneself